So this is one of the best phones I've tried up to date, but unfortunately, well, a lot of people are not gonna have it. So let's talk about it. So this phone is the Pura 70 Pro by Huawei. And yeah, I know, you're gonna say Huawei's been banned in the US, so what's the sense in talking about this phone? Well, I know a lot of you guys are actually watching me from different parts of the world, and you actually don't care about Google Play services, so that's good to know, and I actually love that because I can test out these phones, which most of the time are way better than the flagships that do have Google Play services. So let's start by the screen. We have a beautiful OLED panel with a max brightness of 2500 nits, which means you can practically use it in broad daylight, in the beach, in the desert, wherever you are. You can use it without any issues. It also has a pretty fast fingerprint sensor in the front. The only thing I can tell you about the fingerprint sensor is that it's actually too low. I don't know why they chose that location. I think putting it a little bit further on the top, leaning towards the middle would have been a little bit better, but okay, I can understand the logic of maybe having it below when you're using it with one hand. It also has a refresh rate of 120 Hz, which feels really premium. And all of this is paired with a processor called Kirin 910, which is actually developed by Huawei. This is not a new processor, but it is optimized, which Huawei does all the time when they launch a new phone. Instead of creating a new processor, they focus all their development and all their money into new hardware and premium materials. At least that's what Huawei actually told me when I asked them why they don't develop so many processors in a year. Something that actually makes it different from premium phones is it also has accessories straight out of the box. Yeah, you don't have to buy a charger. 100 watts included straight out of the box, and this charger is actually pretty cool because you can choose whether to charge it with USB Type-C or you can also use USB Type-A. So whichever cable you want, you can use with this phone. Max charge will be 100 watts, that's only wired, but you can also get wireless charging of 80 watts. 80 watts of wireless charging. You do need a special charger for that. I'm gonna try and get it to see really how fast that is, but definitely almost no phone in the market can really do this. But it doesn't end there with the charging capabilities. You can also charge other devices wirelessly up to 20 watts. Not bad. And wiredly, you can charge them 18 watts. Pretty weird. The wireless charge to another phone is actually quicker than the cable charge to another device. Pretty interesting that the wireless charge is faster than the cable one, but anyways, pretty good nonetheless. Inside the box, you also get a case, which is kind of rigid. It's pretty nice because it does not smudge and you don't get fingerprints on it. With or without the case, which is part of the premium feeling. I think this is underrated. You can rock this phone without a case and have no issues. And talking about rocking it without a case, it does have something called cooling glass, which is also developed by Huawei. And it's cooling glass 2, which is pretty hefty and it's also pretty resistant. Although, well, I think we're gonna have to wait for Jerry to rig this thing and tell us really how far it goes, because I can't really scratch it or break it. This is only a review in it I have to give back. Now, cameras. What's my experience with this phone towards the cameras? Well, it has 3 on the back. You have a main sensor of 50 megapixels, which takes beautiful pictures. It really does. It does it with the image processor that Huawei has. It's called X-Match, or you can also call it X-Image. I think it's only abbreviated, but it does an excellent job. It comes also paired with a 48 telephoto camera. Again, excellent development. It doesn't really matter if you're taking pictures in the dark or in broad daylight. It does an excellent job in my opinion. It also has a 12.5 ultra wide megapixel camera. That is pretty weird. 12.5 is a measurement I had never heard before, but it does a good job. It's not the best camera on this phone. The telephoto and the main sensor are definitely the best of the 3 cameras it has. It can also film in 4K up to 60 frames per second and does a pretty good job. And the front camera is 13 megapixels. It's decent, I'm not gonna lie. That's not the best camera either. It's not a selfie phone unless you want to take selfies backwards. But what is it like to rock this phone every day? Well, it has a beautiful screen you can use to play content, play games, or any app you can actually get your hands on. And that's the key of this video. And we're going to talk about that before we go. It also has a killer battery life. It's going to last you all day without any issues. And if it doesn't, you're going to charge it really, really fast. It's a perfect phone to have as a pair with another phone. So let's say you maybe have a business phone, which is an iPhone, and you have a personal phone. Maybe this is a good personal phone for you. I don't know. Depends on what your necessities are. And that takes us to the next part of this video. It's the applications on this phone. Yes, this does not have Google Play services. You have to get your applications straight from something called App Gallery developed by Huawei. There is an application in this App Gallery called Gbox. I can't go into too much detail because YouTube is kind of weird in that sense, and who knows. I'm kind of foreseeing in the near future that it's going to be copyrighted, or actually Google is not going to like that much. But what I can tell you about Gbox is you can get most applications on it for almost whatever things you need, depending on what part of the world you live. Remember, I live in Mexico, so I can get most of the applications I need daily, including bank applications. There are a couple of caveats. Updates aren't that quick. Some of them aren't always available, and it changes from time to time, right? So that's the biggest caveat of buying a Huawei in 2024. You can't always have access to all apps. But if you really don't care about that, this is one of the best phones you can buy in 2024, especially for taking pictures and playing media, because it's a pretty powerful phone, premium feeling, and gives you much more than other phones do in the market right out of the box. But drop a comment below. Would you guys buy this Huawei Pura 70 Pro? I think I would if I had another phone like an iPhone for business.